Before Leviathan, there was something else, something older, something darker, something the Bible mentions by name and then goes almost completely silent about. Its name was Rahab. Not the woman, not the harlot of Jericho. Something far more ancient than her. A creature of the deep, a force of chaos so terrifying that God himself had to destroy it before creation could begin. Most people have never heard this name. Most churches never teach it. But it is there, buried in the oldest poetry of Scripture, whispering from the depths of Job, Isaiah, and the Psalms. This is the story of Rahab, the sea monster that predates Leviathan, the chaos dragon of the primordial deep. And the reason its defeat may be the most important event that happened before Genesis chapter 1 even begins.
The name Rahab appears in the Hebrew scriptures several times, but translators have done something strange with it. In most English Bibles, the name is either left untranslated, changed to a general word like the proud one, or quietly replaced with Leviathan, as if the two were the same. They're not the same. Rahab is older. The word itself in Hebrew carries a meaning of violence, fierceness, arrogance, overwhelming force. It is not the name of a gentle creature. It is the name of something that resisted God. In the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 13, we read this: God does not restrain his anger. Even the helpers of Rahab cower at his feet. Stop there. Even the helpers of Rahab. This creature did not act alone. It had forces beneath it, lesser beings that served it, an entire power structure that existed in the deep. And even those lesser helpers, when God moved against them, could not stand. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 51, verse 9, the prophet cries out to God and says this: Was it not you who cut Rahab to pieces, who pierced that monster through? Pierced, cut to pieces. This was not a defeat by words alone. This was a battle, a cosmic war fought before human eyes ever opened to see the world. And the Bible remembers it. Most people read Genesis chapter 1 and assume it is the absolute beginning of everything. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. But look more carefully at what comes next. The earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep. The deep. In Hebrew, this word is tehom, a vast, chaotic, roaring body of water. Formless, unordered, wild. Ancient Jewish and early Christian scholars understood something that modern readers often miss. The world God shaped in 6 days was not created out of nothing in one smooth motion. There was a state before the ordered creation, a chaotic state, a deep. And something lived in that deep. Rahab was the embodiment of that chaos. Not a god equal to the Creator, not a rival deity, but a force, a creature, a being that represented everything opposed to order, life, and light. Some ancient texts describe Rahab as the prince of the sea, the guardian of the primordial waters, the one who had to be overcome before the world could take shape. Before God said, "Let there be light," something had to be silenced. Before the dry land could rise, something had to be pushed back. Before life could be placed on the earth, the deep had to be tamed. And the instrument of that chaos had a name: Rahab. The Psalms carry the oldest memories of this battle. In Psalm 89, verse 10, God is praised with these words: "You crushed Rahab like one of the slain. With your strong arm, you scattered your enemies." crushed, like one of the slain. This language is not metaphor for bad weather. This is the language of war, of a battle fought at the foundation of the world, a confrontation between the Creator and the chaos that resisted him. Ancient Near Eastern cultures surrounding Israel told similar stories. The Babylonians had Tiamat, a chaos dragon slain by the god Marduk before creation. The Canaanites had Yam, the sea god, defeated before order could be established. Israel's God did not borrow these stories, but he allowed his people to use the language of those stories to describe something real that happened, something cosmic, something that left a mark on creation itself. Rahab was that mark. The creature represented the untamed, unordered chaos of the deep. And when God moved to create, Rahab did not simply step aside. It resisted, it rose, it fought, and it was destroyed. Cut to pieces, pierced through, its helpers scattered at the feet of the Creator. The waters that once roared under Rahab's rule were divided, placed, and given boundaries they could not cross. And over the stillness that followed, the Spirit of God moved. Creation began.
Here is where the story takes a turn that most people never expect. The name Rahab does not only appear in creation contexts. In Isaiah chapter 30, verse 7, God speaks about Egypt. He calls Egypt Rahab, who sits still, or in some translations, Rahab the do-nothing. This is not an accident. Egypt, in the biblical imagination, was the earthly image of Rahab, the great power that enslaved God's people, the kingdom of the deep, the empire of chaos, proud, violent, overwhelming in strength. Just as Rahab, the sea creature, once resisted God's act of creation, Egypt resisted God's act of salvation. Just as Rahab had to be cut apart for the world to be born, Egypt had to be broken for Israel to be born as a nation. When Moses stretched out his hand and the Red Sea divided, the ancient writers understood that scene through the lens of Rahab. God was not simply parting water. God was repeating the primordial act. He was doing again what he did before Genesis, crushing the chaos, pushing back the deep, making a path through what should have been impassable. Psalm 77, verse 16 says this: "The waters saw you, O God. The waters saw you and writhed. The very depths were convulsed." The Red Sea did not simply split. It shook. It trembled. Because what moved through it was the same power that had once crushed Rahab in the beginning. Egypt was Rahab wearing flesh, and God defeated it the same way.
So what makes Rahab different from Leviathan?
Both are sea creatures in Scripture. Both represent chaos and opposition to God. Both are defeated by divine power. But they are not the same being, and they do not serve the same role. Leviathan appears in Job, in Psalms, in Isaiah, and in Revelation. It is described in vivid, terrifying detail. Scales, breath of fire, eyes like the dawn. A creature that makes the sea churn like boiling oil. Leviathan is present, active, described at length. Rahab is older and darker, and almost entirely hidden. Where Leviathan is described, Rahab is only referenced. Where Leviathan is seen, Rahab is remembered. Leviathan exists in the world as it is. Rahab belongs to the world as it was before order came. Some ancient Jewish scholars believed Rahab was completely destroyed at creation, while Leviathan was preserved, tamed but not killed, held but not gone.
a reminder of chaos that God keeps on a leash until the final days. Rahab had no such second chance. It was crushed, scattered, cut to pieces before the first human drew breath. Its helpers fled. Its power was broken. Its name became a warning whispered in poetry and prophecy. In this way, Rahab is more terrifying than Leviathan, not because it still exists, but because of what had to be done to destroy it. If God himself had to fight a battle before creation could begin, what does that tell you about the nature of this world? What does it tell you about the chaos that still churns beneath the surface of things? The story of Rahab is not just ancient mythology wrapped in Hebrew poetry. It is a pattern, a template, a truth that runs through all of Scripture. Every act of God's creation is also an act of conquest. Every time God brings life, he is pushing back chaos. Every time he opens a way through what seems impossible, he is repeating what he did in the beginning. Crushing Rahab, dividing the deep, making space for the ordered and the good. The Exodus was a new creation. The resurrection of Jesus was a new creation. The new heaven and the new earth described in Revelation is the final creation. The ultimate, permanent defeat of every Rahab that has ever existed. In Revelation 21, the new world is described with one striking phrase: "And the sea was no more." No more sea. No more Tehom. No more chaos. No more deep from which creatures of darkness can rise. Everything that Rahab represented, violence, disorder, resistance to God's order, is gone. Not pushed back, not tamed. Gone. The pattern that began before Genesis reaches its end after Revelation. And the one who crushed Rahab in the ancient deep is the same one who says in that final chapter, "Behold, I am making all things new."